Overture. On April 8th, 1966, Time magazine emblazoned its black cover with the stark question, "Is God dead?" On April 30th, Alexander LaVey delivered the answer by proclaiming the birth of the age of Satan with the founding of the Church of Satan. Both events impacted the world of religion, revitalizing Nietzsche's vision of the liberation of humanity from the dominance of Christian morality. LaVey noted in the Satanic Bible, published in December of 1969, a number of pieces of evidence for this new satanic age. Over the succeeding years, corroboration has continued. The perceptive have been enjoying that show. In 1998, Episcopalian Bishop John Shelby Spong published a book entitled Why Christianity Must Change or Die. It acknowledges the irrationality of past Christian beliefs and argues for a new image of God as simply the ground of being for the universe, and for Christ as a symbolic gateway to this inactive God. I relish seeing a prominent member of a major Christian denomination admitting that the past model of God must perish or their entire religion will wither because it is against human nature. Dr. LaVey's joke about God needing Medicare and his prediction that the Jesus character would be considered a well-known folk myth by 2000 CE seem to have been on target. While topless nuns have yet to perform the Missa Solemnis rock, there have been other concerts of equivalent blasphemy. I stood on a steel balcony in the nave of what was once an elegant stone church in the heart of Midtown Manhattan. Below me, a stage replaced the consecrated space previously supporting a Christian altar. On that now carnal precinct, members of the Electric Hellfire Club, a band of Satanists who use the techno-magic of electricity in their sonic evocations, proudly celebrated their Luciferian heritage. Lead singer Thomas Thorne, a priest in the Church of Satan, was the commanding frontman. His muscular tattooed arms gleamed in the infernal flashing of the laser lights. The plastic red horn stuck to his forehead gave the proper tone of mockery to his presence. He shouted out, "God is dead! Satan lives!" And this gruff incantation was echoed through the speakers by the sampled voices from the soundtrack to Roman Polanski's Rosemary's Baby, a film with connection to Magus and the early years of our church. The resonance was powerful. As Thorne capered about the stage, the black-garbed audience swayed to the savage dance beat supporting their impious incantations. Thorne raised his left arm and thrusted forth his fingers in the cornu, the devil's salute. "Hail, Satan!" was his primal scream. The throng smartly returned this gesture, joining in on the chorus enthusiastically celebrating the triumph of Satan. I smiled. On Walpurgisnacht of 36 Anno Satanas, I was consecrated as the second high priest of the Church of Satan by Magistra Blanche Barton, the high priestess since the passing of Magus LaVey in 32 Anno Satanis. A year following that date, my wife, Magistra Peggy Nadramia, became high priestess, while Magistra Barton assumed Magistra Nadramia's former role as chairperson of the Council of Nine. The camaraderie I've shared with these two brilliant and powerful satanic witches has enriched me immeasurably. On the night that my wife took her place at my side as high priestess, I shared with our members a metaphor I have used to explain my conception of my position and duties as high priest. Since I am a musician, Having studied both conducting and composition, I often tend to cast my imagery based on this significant part of my creative practice. I see the Church of Satan as resembling a vast symphony orchestra of diabolical virtuosos, each with skills in playing their unique instruments, their talents. I am now the conductor and music director of this esteemed ensemble, and the score of which I lead us in performance is the philosophy of Satanism, composed by Anton LaVey and embodied in his many works. As is the regular practice of conductors, I have studied both the historical context as well as made an in-depth analysis of Dr. LaVey's score, so that my interpretation is authoritative. Having worked for many years directly with the composer himself has also provided me with the necessary insights into his unique methods and means. The Sinfonia Diabolica, which we perform with the maximum engagement of our passions, is one with many concertante passages, calling for players to come forth from the texture of the ensemble and sing solo with great ardor. It is a score that also allows for cadenzas, passages wherein soloists soar in brilliant improvisation supported by the ground bass of Satanism's carnal philosophy. And also it is a score that allows for continued expansion, ever more colorful elaborations of its orchestration as conditions change and evolving possibilities present themselves. Those who are not well versed in classical music performance might not be aware that it has long been the practice of conductors to adjust the scores they are playing to take advantage of the continuing development of the instruments in the orchestra, facilitating greater expression of the intentions of the composer. And so it is my task to evolve the implementation of Maestro LaVey's philosophical masterpiece, as I do my utmost to galvanize you all in this continuing concert of Promethean music arising from the very heart of the Inferno. This is a collection of my essays, written from 1987 CE to 2006 CE, many of which were published in the Black Flame. I've made expansions and contractions in an effort to sharpen their focus. You should note that some pieces refer to incidents that occurred proximate to their creation. There are a number of pieces written as rabble-rousing rhetoric during the Satanic panic, when we had to defend ourselves almost daily from accusations spread by Christian fundamentalist fanatics that Satanism was a conspiracy of devil-worshipping child murderers. We were under fire, and legislation had been proposed to make Satanism illegal based on these nonsensical claims. Those laws were not passed. We have survived and thrived. The title of the Satanic Scriptures is an intentionally theatrical oxymoron. Scriptures are generally sacred texts, and being satanic in nature, these scribblings of mine are not meant as dogmatic proclamations. They are observations made from my unique perspective as a member of the Church of Satan, who came to be an administrator and trusted friend and colleague of Magus LaVey. I've spent close to 2 decades as a spokesperson for our cherished philosophy, and during that time have developed principles that I think may be of use to other Satanists. The subjects covered are varied, and you'll find herein metaphors that have helped me leverage the world in interesting ways. Beginning with the piece approved by Dr. LaVey is the best condensed introduction to our philosophy, Satanism, the feared religion. I've sequenced the essays in a flow which I trust will make for enhanced understanding. They move through issues delineating Satanism in contradistinction to other perspectives extant for approaching human society. You will find several recurring themes that I tackle from differing angles. I define particular types of human animals that you might encounter, and then move on to more personal concerns regarding my aesthetic choices. Over the years, I've often been asked about orchestral music, since it is my passion, and so I've created a guide to some of the composers and works which I consider to be among the greatest in the history of Western music. The devil always has the best tunes, and I suspect that could be extended to encompass the idea that he'd also have a damn fine Hades Philharmonic to conduct. It is then time to open those adamantine gates and tour the Church of Satan itself. I celebrate our founder and discuss the important milestones in our church's history. I next review some of the mechanisms and structures which form the architecture of our organization. The essays conclude by offering an insider's view toward the application of our philosophy, respectfully submitted as words to the wise. To end this volume, I give forbidden rights to thee. While Dr. LaVey was alive, I created several rituals that became standard liturgy in the Church of Satan. These were circulated only amongst members of our priesthood of Mendes, and they have been chamber tested for a number of years. It is now time to unleash some of them. Others remain secret. I am so very proud of all the extraordinary people I've met through the Church of Satan. They are abundant proof that Dr. LaVey was accurate in naming our kind, and I know that there are more brave and talented individuals yet to cross my path. That my work may in some way continue to expand upon the brilliant pioneering of our founder for some of you is ample reward. I salute you, fellow Satanists, and look forward to your perfervid works to inspire me as I continue to forge my own creations in the infernal foundry of my Stygian passions. Infernal foundry of my Stygian passions. Some fearful folk have questioned Dr. LaVey's initial proclamation of the new age of fire, but I know he was correct. As the Church of Satan passed its second working year in 2002 CE, it certainly had fulfilled his prediction of attaining maturity. As we continue to move forward, the fervor increases on a global scale. We bear a legacy, crystallized and identified by Anton Szandor LaVey, which has come forth from the shadows to claim its due. It is a glorious time to be a Satanist. Now time should be ready for a new cover. Satan lives. Satan lives. Mine eyes have seen the dark glory. Mine eyes
I
have
know
seen the dark
You share
glory.
my vision.
May this Peter H. Gilmore,
Share my vision.
Friday the 13th, October,
May this
41,
Peter H. Gilmore,
Anno Satanas,
Friday the
Hell's
13th,
Kitchen,
October
New York City.
41.
Anno Satanas, Hell's Kitchen,